We flew out of Adelaide just after 9 a.m. on Saturday morning, and we arrived in Singapore mid-afternoon that day. The flight was 7 hours, really doable,
really
smooth,
comfortable.
Yeah, nice food.
Yeah, Singapore Airlines did well. And then Singapore itself was, I found, beautiful, and everything worked. It was efficient.
We really enjoyed the organic, natural flow of how Singapore is set up. It was easy to navigate public transport, to leave the airport and catch a train to our hotel room.
And the hotel was perfectly placed so we could walk around and see what we wanted to see, which was mostly the gardens by the bay. Beautiful sort of park in the centre of the city.
And having a 24-hour layover was really great because it broke up a 20-hour flight into two sort of more manageable sections.
And I think this was the best part of it all, because there's a beautiful light show that they do at Gardens by the Bay, and it had just specially occasioned been turned into a Star Wars themed one, so it was a light show designed to go with Star Wars music, which I loved. It was gorgeous.
It was perfect for Martin.
Perfect for everybody. And again, it was just so popular. There were people everywhere. And that same time we had dinner in this dinosaur-themed food court. These animatronics would come alive regularly, but I was unable to get a footage of that.
It was hectic.
We ran away.
Busy.
It was so crowded.
The next morning we went back to the airport on the train, and we visited Jewel, which is the indoor garden at the airport, which is quite spectacular. The SkyTrain goes through Jewel. So we spent a bit of time there waiting for our flight, and then we hopped on the plane to come to Paris. That flight was not so smooth sailing.
No, it really wasn't. There was a large part of time there that we were confined to our seats, essentially, because of turbulence. And on a 13.5-hour flight, being confined to your seat for a long period of time is really just not fun. We couldn't stretch, couldn't go to the toilet.
No, the food service was stopped, so we couldn't have dinner for 5 or 6 hours. I was really hungry.
But we did get to Paris.
And we got there safely.
Mm-hmm. And yes, we spent pretty much the whole day walking around in Paris. And one thing we did learn was that in Paris, nothing opens on Mondays.
Yes, if you only have one day to do Paris, don't choose a Monday, because Martin had the catacombs on his list of things to do. That was closed. And what was your second option?
Followed up with a Musée d'Orsay, which is a museum, free art gallery thing, and it was also closed on Monday.
We discovered
many restaurants and cafes were not open on Monday.
But we did have a lovely day walking around. We had delicious food, very French food.
We saw things we wouldn't have looked at if we'd got our plans for the catacombs.
We did 30,000 steps that day.
Yep, we walked along the Seine, or the Seine, however you say it, saw the boats, saw the Arc de Triomphe, which wasn't on our list. Nice to see people in Paris really do use their public spaces. There were so many joggers and walkers in the parks. And of course, we did get to the Eiffel Tower.
Martin found the Eiffel Tower elevator ride a little tricky.
It was. I made the mistake of looking down out of the glass elevator as it was going up. And yep, it overcome with a bit of a wave of nausea and vertigo. But yeah, overall, it was still absolutely worthwhile. It's settled.
The views from the top of the Eiffel Tower were spectacular. You could see the whole of Paris, and it gave you a sense of the city, the age of the city, the architecture. It was really lovely to spend some time up there, drinking a flute of champagne and some macarons.
That's right. Unfortunately, we had thought there was a bar, but the bar really was a window where a single server would pour out champagne into plastic flutes and sell the macarons. But yes, it was not what we expected.
So we flew out of No, we were going to catch the train from Paris to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. However, there was a spanner in the works due to a train strike.
Another thing that Paris is famous for is striking.
Which is great.
So the unfortunate thing was we found out in the evening before our train was due to depart, and so then had to spend the rest of the night furiously looking around for alternatives. We ended up finding a plane, flying out the next morning to Biarritz, and then we booked ourselves onto a thing called the Donkey Express or Express Burukot, which was like a taxi service that takes pilgrims from the outer airports or places like Bayonne or Biarritz, and drives them to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, which we ended up jumping in with a group of Americans. And we got there and we had a lovely night in our room and started the next day.